guys know that song?
Yeah.
What's it called? Yeah, it's what Jared plays on the toilet.
Why do you know what he plays on the toilet? How do you know that?
Not a word of a lie. Have you heard this story?
No.
Do you want to hear this story? I honestly forget where we were. But we had to go to the restroom. We were in a hotel or I think it was a convention. So we found a public restroom. Walked in. We thought it was empty. He went into one stall. I went into another stall. We sat down. It was quiet.
A little too quiet.
Then all of a sudden, it's the final countdown. And I, in my stall, start to giggle. He hears me laughing and he starts to laugh. Then the stranger at the end of the bathroom flushes the toilet and quickly exits the restroom. And now that song is forever ruined because of Mr. Padalecki. One of the many stories that we have that will probably end up in one of our books at some point. Yeah, I'm not writing a book. Anyway, all right, let's get to it. Over here.
Thank you. Hi. Given how the last season ended, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling anyone, what do you think about...
Don't tell me, I don't want to know.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, sorry. You're gonna get spoiled now.
Do I tell her? Please, spoil away.
Given how the last Supernatural season ended, what do you think about a crossover with The Walking Dead?
Okay. Yeah, I think there's several shows that would that could possibly make sense for these characters arriving into town. That one being one of them. They would certainly make for some interesting meta moments, especially between Negan and the Winchester brothers. Maybe we just have the Impala drive by and have Negan holding his bat going, huh. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, I'd be down for that. Yeah, you'd have to talk to the guys over at Walking Dead, but that'd be fun. And come this time next year, we'll have some time on our hands. So, who knows? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
So I know that it was a pretty quick turnaround to get from the CW upfronts in New York to come join us, and I'm curious, the Jonas Brothers performed, and I wanted to know if you saw them, if you got the opportunity to see them perform, and if so, how did you like it?
Who? So not a word of a lie, and I'll probably get called out for saying this, but I'll leave the names out of it, but it's probably pretty easy to figure out who it is. After the musical group exited stage, one of our executives walked onto stage and said, "Let's hear it for the Joneses brothers." And you saw all the other executives behind stage go, "What the?" So what they do, usually the way that thing works is they have all of the cast of all the shows in a room that's a little smaller than this room here, and you know, coffee and waters and stuff there. We're all watching a monitor of what's happening on stage. So I guess, yeah, I did see them, but on a TV, but everybody was talking, so I didn't really watch them. It was more for the audience that was out in the theater. I think they played a couple of songs. I'm not their target demographic, so I'm sure they're not going to take offense to the fact that I wasn't paying attention. Good for them. It looks like their careers are doing really well, and it was nice to have somebody that's relevant, other than, you know, not us. We were talking about, Jared and I were talking about it. It's interesting. He may have touched on this. Has he had his panel yet? No. Well, then I'm going to steal this story. We were there in this room with all of the cast from all of the shows. Not all of the shows, but most of the shows for our network. And the network traditionally skews for a younger audience, and so a lot of the shows are designed to be just that. So it's a lot of young cast members. Jared said, "I remember when I was the young one." And I said, "I know." And we're literally the same age as the ones that are like playing the fathers of the lead cast members now. And we had this lovely young actress, Kennedy, who's playing Nancy Drew in the new series, come up to us, and she was like, "You guys are legends. I've grown up watching you. Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture with you for my father?" And I was like, "Okay. Did your father grow up watching us too?" No, but in all seriousness, the talent, they've paid us really great compliments over the years, and we've got equally as great compliments from the executives of the network, who tell us that we set a good example for those young actors. And to me, that's one of the best compliments I could receive. That's something that I know that Jared and I have always strived to attain is respect from the people that we worked with and our peers. To set a good tone on set. We can't control a lot, but that we can't control. And so we try to do the same. We try to do the same here as well. You know, we try to set a tone of fun, engagement, professionalism, friendliness, compassion, love, and when you check those boxes in a work setting, it's amazing the kind of work you can get done, and it's also amazing the kind of friends you can make. And so we get to be benefits of that when we're on our set, but peripherally, we get to see that be an example for these new shows and these younger actors and actresses that are coming up. And to me, that's really important. And I'm proud that we've at least achieved somewhat of that. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're very proud of you guys.
Thank you. fact that we followed that monologue with dancing unicorn llamas. What's happening?
You know, your frustration with unicorns, there's a...
I don't have a frustration with unicorns, except when they surround me and threaten me.
Look at your feet, behind your feet. Turn around.
Yeah, is a unicorn balloon.
No,
No,
not
the
the
stick.
stick. The stick. Okay. And you can kill...
Why would I want to kill a unicorn?
If you want to keep him there, like this, looking at you, it's fine.
I want to kill a unicorn. I like unicorns. You know? You know how often I have to answer the question, are unicorns real? And now I get to show my daughter a video of me doing this.
Not all unicorns are born alike.
I get you.
See, unicorns can't be destroyed though. No matter how hard you hit them.
Not yet.
Still together. They're magical creatures
They're magically delicious.
that exist in real time and in real life. They're just, you never know if it's a horse or if the horse is hiding its horn. Because they have to be very quiet because there's a lot of people out there that want to hurt them.
No.
And what happens is you really can't hurt them.
And it's for kids. Kids manage to break them.
Like the day you were born. I feel like it's staring at me. This doesn't work.
It works.
Oh, it does it?
It does.
It worked for Graham.
I feel like this is, what? Step on it?
No.
I can't even look at it when I'm like hitting it. It's like, I feel really horrible. It's like I'm breaking like a beautiful piece of art.
In pinata form.
Oh, I'm gonna take its horn off.
Clearly the unicorns wins.
This one wins.
What
All
did
right.
Steven do to you?
What's that?
What did Steven do to you?
Steve? Happen now. I feel like this is designed not to have a serious conversation. I mean, it's... Anybody got any questions?
Sure. Hi. So I was wondering, what are some fun details about Dean that have never been explored on the show, but you believe to be true to his character in a way?
Some fun, what was it?
Details like little things about Dean.
About Dean? I think and this is really boils down to a cost issue. I feel like we miss hearing Dean's music as much as we used to. I would have liked to have explored a little bit more of Dean's, although we know what genre it is, just kind of hearing a little bit more of that be a soundtrack to his life and to the brothers' journey. Also, I think that we should probably have a scene or two with a cat and see what happens. Maybe there's some stuff left over from Yellow Fever that we haven't tapped into. That could be funny. There's a lot we haven't discovered about Dean, but I think there's a lot that we have, and I'm thankful for that, because I think he's a very complex character. I think he's a very real character. You know, he's not a lot of characters, at least that I see, and this might just be a product of the amount of time that we're allowed to spend with them. You know, in a movie you only get maybe 90 minutes, maybe 120 minutes. But those characters have very little time to really kind of unfold as much as Dean has gotten to unfold over the past 14 years. And I like the fact that I've had the opportunity to be able to discover this character along the way, and rediscover this character and reinvent this character almost on an annual basis. And it's something that, like I said earlier in this morning with Jared, it's something that will forever live with me. But we got 12 more months to discover something new about him, so.
Yeah. I'm excited for that, thank you.
Me too, thank you. Hi.
Hi, I was wondering, as a fan of the show myself, are you looking forward to the next season of Peaky Blinders? And have you heard about the escape room in Birmingham? They've just designed a Peaky Blinders themed escape room, and would you like to do it?
What? Yes. I didn't know that. I'll have my people. I don't have people, but I'll have my people look into that. Yeah, I'm excited about that. It's like one of those shows that I've been with it since the beginning, and I got to see it through the end. Kind of like a show that's ending tomorrow. Which, don't get me started. I can't. Game of Thrones fans? Anybody? So no, you guys don't watch it. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could like hear your opinion. We're not here to have a Game of Thrones discussion, but I would like to have one.
Yes.
Do you want to hear my theory on what's going to happen?
No?
Just real quick. And I'm sorry, I know it was about Peaky Blinders, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the Shelbys do. I really am, because Thomas Shelby's one of my favorite characters. But I just kind of have to say this. I think Tyrion's gonna kill Daenerys. Why? Because he was wrong.
He's wrong.
And he watched his friend die.
Why Tyrion?
He watched his friend die, he was wrong, and it's the ultimate redemption for his character, for all the things that he's done, is to put Snow on the throne. But whether or not Snow makes the throne, I don't know. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Game of Thrones, and we'll find out tomorrow night. Daniela, can we just sit here and have a Game of Thrones watch party tomorrow night?
Sorry?
Can we just sit here and have a Game of Thrones watch party tomorrow night?
Yes.
A Game of Thrones watch party tomorrow night?
It would be like,
I don't watch it.
You don't watch it?
We watch it.
So you're the one.
I'm number 2.
Oh, and you're 2,
She's
and you're
3.
3. All right, fine.
I'll watch it.
All right, moving on.
It'd be like 3 a.m.
Enough of that. Enough people talk about that show.
Hi.
Hi.
So for the past 14 seasons, we've seen Dean go through every horrible thing imagined. And I thought I'd seen all of your acting range, but I've never seen anything like the way you played Dean grieving Cass and Mary in season 13. Like, it was so raw and real. And I just wanna, how do you do that? Where does it come from?
You know, it used to, thank you. It used to come from someplace other than the show, which is a common, I think, acting thing. Maybe it's not, I don't know. I've never been trained properly or professionally, or at all. I'm untrained. And wild. But for me personally, just being able to tap into certain emotions, you know, in the very beginning of the show, it's like maybe I use something from my personal experience. Now I don't have to do that because I've lived with this character and I've lived with these relationships for so long that I can just simply think about what it would be like for this character to go through what he's going through, and that brings the emotion right there. Whenever I have an emotional scene with Jared or with Misha, when we're in those characters, we're in those moments. You know, I am Dean.
Yes, you are.
And he is Sam, and he is Cass, and she is Mary, and she is Charlie, and like those relationships are real, because they also exist off camera in a certain extent. You know, these are very dear friends of mine, and if a dear friend of yours comes to you and says they're dying, or if you lose someone like that, that brings up real emotion. And the craziest thing is when you're acting, when you're doing these scenes, you're telling your body that this is real. You're telling your body that your brain is, I mean, brain is an incredible thing, in the fact that it can tell your body to do something and to react to something that isn't real. Even though you know it's not real, you can tap into emotions that would only happen if it was real. And I don't know if that's a certain gift or a talent or just a messed up way of using your brain wrong, but it's difficult to then turn that off, for me anyways. Some people can get into it and get out of it really quickly, but for me it's like getting into it is one thing, but then that becomes real because I'm telling myself that it's real. And I've talked about this before, like the emotional stuff is very difficult, because those are some of the moments that I remember the most because they have the biggest impact on my heart. Yeah. Thank you. Hi.
So we know you're really talented, like there's nothing you can't do. It's true.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
Yeah, take a sip.
Okay, question please.
So, yeah.
That's it?
No.
Good, great.
I don't know what's happening.
No, I'm just getting a drink of water. That was me avoiding that compliment. That's what that was.
The music started playing. Whatever. You've been teasing us with Steve for a couple of weeks now about some songs, maybe an album, and I was just wondering if we're gonna hear something soon, maybe on Monday. It's my birthday, I deserve it.
You want to tell her?
Not that, Steve.
Oh. No, not.
Jensen.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you want to know?
Are you gonna sing a new song on Monday or not?
Am I singing a new song Monday?
Yeah, during the Monday concert.
Yeah, I think we're singing a new song, but it won't be one of my songs. Or Steve's, one of our songs. Right? You're being very quiet today. Don't look at me like that. Our relationship is complicated. Yeah, I'll touch on that real quick. Steve Carlson, who some of you may or may not know, dear friend of mine. He and I, we've been working on a music project for about, well, I say about 8 months. He likes to say about 19 years.
Feels like it.
Yeah. And we finally started to record some music, all completely original, all written and produced by he and I. And yeah, I don't know, maybe we'll listen to it and be like, this is crap, we're never releasing this. Or maybe we'll say, let's see what they think.
We'll hunt you down if you do that.
I know.
So you know.
I know. Yeah, so we're working on that, and that's in the works, and we're getting close to printing. So I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
I recently found an old interview of yours, and you mentioned then, I think it was in the 90s, you mentioned that your most prized possession is a pink stuffed pig. And I thought that was really adorable, and I wanted to ask, does he still exist? Why did you mention him, or her?
Don't listen to her. Really? Did I say that? I mean, I know what you're talking about. I can't believe that I actually said that. That's a little embarrassing. Yeah, that was something from my childhood that was probably the only piece of my childhood that I brought to California with me. Everything else was just stuff that I needed to, survive: a bed, clothing, dishes, a toothbrush, and that's about all I had. But then I had my little pink stuffed pig, which wasn't little. I mean, the thing was like this big. It was basically just a body pillow. And yeah, I don't know why I decided to bring that, but it was the one thing that just kind of reminded me of being young and a kid. And I think one day I grew up and got rid of it. And I don't know where, I think I tossed it. It probably smelled pretty bad. Yeah. I know my 6-year-old, well, she's about to be 6 in 2 weeks. She has this little stuffed thing that she she calls baby. Not kidding. And when she was young, when she was only a couple of years, there were different variations of this one little stuffy thing, and there was the puppy, and then there was the rabbit, and there was the raccoon, and the owl, whatever. But she gravitated towards this one particular one, and so we're like, ooh, we should buy a few of those in case one goes missing. Well, she had used that one so much that the texture of the fabric became different than the other ones. So she could tell when she was 2 years old, she was like, this is not baby. And I'm like, of course it is, this is our thing. But you have to use this one in order for it to, can we just, no, it's in the washing. But no, that was the only one, so we've gotten rid of all those. There is one lone baby, and if we lose that, And she's 6 now. I mean, it's like, all right, we gotta like maybe get rid of this. And she's like, nope. So I have a feeling that might be going to college with her. But yeah, that's kind of the story behind the pig.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
I started watching 2.5 years ago, and I watched 9 seasons in 2 weeks, and I haven't regretted a single second. So thank you so much for so much entertainment. My question is, speaking of baby, you're gonna get baby after the show ends, so maybe you'll get like Jared on board and drive back to Texas and like film a road trip show.
Maybe.
Pretty please.
It's not a bad idea.
Have the other baby in tow.
Right, so when ours breaks down after 200 miles, we can just rotate them.
It's a tank made of babies.
We'll have like a full convoy of like mechanics. Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually. I'll think about that. Okay. Hi.
Hi. You recently opened your brewery. I wish like to know how did you get interested in making beer, and what is your favorite beer?
My brother-in-law Gino and I used to make just some backyard beer at my house in California years ago, and we really got into the craft beer industry and the whole wave of craft beers that were hitting America at that time. And started making more beer, and then we had this kind of pipe dream, like, hey, it'd be fun to really open up like a little small brewery and make beer for some of our friends and family and maybe some customers. That dream blossomed and grew, and Gino really kind of took the reins on that. Because I was working on the show, I couldn't devote the kind of time needed to explore the industry in depth the way that he could. So he went to Chicago and went to the Siebel Institute, which is a phenomenal beer school. And he went to UC Davis in California and took a master brewery class there. And, just started really learning like the complexities and the science and the chemistry behind beer. And so when we decided to move to Austin, he was like, well, the scene down there, the brewery scene and the craft beer scene down there is just perfect to start a brewery. So he moved to Austin as well. We bought some land, put up a building, bought some tanks, and then promptly hired someone who knew how to make beer. I wasn't going to put that kind of an investment or that kind of pressure on Gino to come up with all the recipes, and he agreed. He was like, no, we need to. This was us opening up basically a restaurant and hiring a master chef, and so we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to find Nate. Nate came aboard and started making beer right away. We kind of gave him free rein as to make what he wanted. Luckily, he's very talented in making all varieties of and styles of beer, and then it just came down to what we liked and what we felt we could get behind and promote properly. And now we've got more than we need, which is great. The response has been fantastic. Some people here in the audience have actually been to the brewery, and it's a really fun endeavor to be a part of outside of the entertainment industry. Never really pursued anything in a different industry, so this is really fulfilling and enjoying. And I would say my favorite, if I had to pick a beer right now that we make, Oof. It would probably be the pale ale. It was the very first one that we all agreed had to go on the list. And it's still there today, and it still is one of our best sellers. So, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah, I didn't want there to be any question. Okay.
Thank you for your honesty.
Did you want to come up? Yeah. Am I supposed to leave now? Do I leave now? What do I do? I'm not asking you.
Drink.
Oh, I leave. Okay.
They're treating you like you're a puppy or a dog.
Hey, Misha, go. I have one question for you.
Heel.
Still going. You were so much better in your 40s.
Why weren't you reading your fucking monitor that whole time? So everybody backstage was like, it's possible Jensen can't read.
You know why? Because I'm not worried about what I look like. I don't watch the monitor. I'm giving myself to these people.
Jensen, don't stand facing the audience. Those pants clearly show that you have a tiny penis.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
So in the green room, Rich and Rob were talking about how the monitor had been. Oh yes. Oh, that's what you cuddle with at night? So, Daniela, in the green room, Rich and Rob were talking about how I had changed the screen on the monitor, and then Daniela said, yes, because he's evil. As if it just
and that's why we love him.
And that just explains, like, yes, because he's evil. You understand.
I also added because we...
You did say that. That's why you love me, because I'm evil, which is very
sure,
sweet.
that's it. You know, similar people.
That's why we get along so well,
yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it? No photos, please. No photos.
That is the longest running gag ever.
So the fact that this is the birthday, the 10th birthday of JIB10. I was thinking about something that Mason said recently. My daughter, she's small. She said, "Why don't things have birthdays? Like, why don't mom's glasses have birthdays? Or why doesn't our refrigerator have a birthday? Or why don't dad's underwear have birthdays?" And then West said, without missing a beat, he said, "Is it possible that butts get sweaty?" So I just wanted to leave you with that. Actually, that's circled back nicely with what I was talking about this morning. Again, I'm sorry. Please, no photos. No photos. How are you? How's it going so far? It feels like everyone is... Most of you seem very lively.
Misha.
No, I'm just kidding. You seem...
I'm really happy to be here.
Almost alive. You have a question, comment, criticism.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
So, sorry, this is a little bit of a serious question to start out with, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Good luck.
Yeah, but it's an important one. The U.S. is coming up on another really important year next year, and you did such a great job last year with the Get Out the Vote efforts.
You mean because it's a census year?
Oh yeah, it's the census I'm worried about, sure.
Yeah.
No, there's something else happening that year, and I just wondered two things. Are you planning, I hope, on sort of getting involved again and spurring people to do stuff? And specifically, are there any messages you have right now for what we should be doing right now to make things turn out a little better next year?
I do plan to be involved in the... I think I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess that you're talking about an election.
Oh yeah, that could be it.
Who here loves Donald Trump? By the way, if you do like Donald Trump, I feel bad for doing that, because I would probably just leap over the seats and attack you, and you knew that. You know, I'm still holding out hope that, that young people will turn out at the polls and shift the tide. I've said this before, but when they do those polls of likely voters, do you know what I'm talking about? They say, of likely voters, you know, 49% say Donald Trump is a turd. But those likely voters they don't count people under 25 because they're not likely to vote. So I'm hopeful that young people will get out and vote. And if you know any young people, maybe you could threaten them with something. That's what you can do.
I frequently do.
You can scare young people into voting. Don't really do that though, okay? Hi.
Hi. Now I kind of wish I had this stepping stool from earlier on.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
How tall are you? How tall are you?
You mean how tiny am I? 5 feet.
5 feet?
Yep.
That's pretty big. I'm sorry about what I did in the photo.
That's okay. I love
She brought
it.
a stool and then I stood on the stool.
Well, clearly you had to use it. Jared as well. I mean, they are very tiny, so yeah. That's fine. Totally fine. Okay. Anyways, from politics to something completely different. So, thanks to a Gish family gathering in Munich, I now know that you, my dear, are quite tasty.
I'm so embarrassed to admit I literally don't remember this event.
Of course you don't. Alcohol was involved.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say, please explain.
Okay, will do. No, nothing too bad. No, the thing was, we were at a cafe in Munich, and a Mr. Collins was on the cocktails menu. So I had to order it, and you taste quite good.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Leading leading up to the following question.
I'm starting to get a little nervous about the follow-up question. So, well done. Okay.
No, just kidding. So, what would a Castile cocktail taste like? What ingredient would a Castile cocktail have?
Oh, shame on you. Not Dean.
What would a Castile cocktail be? I hate that word.
Like a cloud with a sprinkle of harp. Yeah. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Sorry, I live there.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. I was wondering, spoiler, yes. After what happened in the final, do you
Don't tell me I haven't watched it.
It's fine.
We already went through this.
Do you think the Winchester Gospels will still exist? Because Chuck wrote those, and then he did that. So,
Are you worried about like where you're going to get the books?
No.
You can probably still find them on eBay or something.
No, I'm an avid reader. I have my ways. But I was just wondering for the show, because it seemed like a thing where Dean was going to beat the crap out of Chuck, and he's like, well, no, you can't like hurt him or kill him because like the stuff that he's writing is going to be important later on. So it just seemed like after he's like originally he wrote those, and then he snapped his fingers, and now like zombies are everywhere. So I was just wondering if, depending on what they do with the new season, if anything they had done in the past was like going to matter.
I've never felt more confused in my life.
It does that.
It's okay. I just feel like I failed an IQ test.
No, it was really far back in the show, so.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was the last episode to air. Is that what you mean?
Well, it's reference to that.
Oh, there's more, isn't there?
No.
Don't give up. Don't give up on me. I'm a failing student. You need to help me. I think that the books will still be available, but maybe only in Kindle version. No, don't give up on me.
It's like
I just need extra help.
Up here in the first place, so this is not helpful.
I know. Okay, I'll be nice. I'm just kidding. So let's start over.
Okay, so when they first discovered Chuck,
Yes.
he's supposed to be a prophet, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Is that right?
So then he wrote the books.
Yep.
And then he's like, okay, well, I get visions and I write it down, and what I write down happens.
Yes.
So then something happens where Cass comes in, like he poofs in and says, Dean, don't hurt Chuck, because what he writes will be important later on.
Okay.
And then he says they're called the Winchester.
And this all happened?
Yes, yes, in the show.
Oh, it's a fan.
So I'm saying...
Are we talking about Game of Thrones right now?
It might have a
You're
better
so
outcome.
mad at me.
So I guess Chuck being a prophet and then finding out he was God, let me put it this way, does anything that he said as Chuck matters as God? Like, did anything he say as Chuck matters now when he's God?
Come on, say yes.
Yes. Did I get it right? Yes.
Thank you.
But you don't really mean that. But I can tell you this. I think that I think now, like my guess is from this point forward, going into the next season, we are going to be seeing the unwritten script. Like the boys and Cass are going to be trying to chart their own course and not let God write the story. Sorry, Chuck write the story for them. God. Mr. God? What does he go by?
It's just God. It's just God.
I think this went well, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
how am I going to follow up on that question?
I don't know.
Well, first, I just want to say that you're my favorite. And
favorite what? Favorite what?
Thank you.
I just
Thank
think
you
that,
for saying that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think that.
Hold on, I just want. Can I grab a quick video of you saying that? I have some friends I want to show that to.
Don't lie.
I think it only got better after season 4. More eye candy. But I have a question.
Okay, good.
I was wondering, what do you think Supernatural would look like if you didn't have a stunt double? If you didn't.
It would be pretty cool.
Because you're bendy and flexible?
I've tried to do some of my own stunts. I kind of learned early on that it's maybe not my thing. But there were 2 specific events. One was I was doing this movie called Finding Home, which was a low-budget, kind of terrible movie. But they had this really nice antique boat, and they had a Coast Guard captain who was going to drive the boat dressed as my character. And I was like, I can drive the boat, guys. It's just a boat. I'm like, how hard can that be? I'd never driven a boat before. And the director was like, we need you a little closer to the show. So the Coast Guard guy was down below, and I was in this beautiful, expensive antique boat. And the director was like, we need you a little closer to the rocks, Misha. Just bring it a little closer. Just fucking crashed into the rocks and like broke open the wooden hull of this antique boat. And it cost them like a significant portion of the budget of the film to fix it. And so from that, like the next big thing that I worked on was 24. And I sort of learned my lesson, and the very first scene in 24 was like close up on my eyes, introducing this badass new character, evil character, and then I drive my Jaguar down a ramp, loading dock ramp out of a warehouse. And they're like, so we're gonna do the close up on your eyes, and then we're gonna cut to the wide shot where we'll have a stunt driver drive it down the ramp. And I was like, guys, I can drive the car down the ramp. And I ripped out the entire undercarriage, so the entire exhaust system of this $120,000 car was just sitting on the pavement when I finished. And it was my first day of shooting. And so then after that, when they're like, we have a stunt guy to do the thing, I was like, yeah, let him do that. That's great. Yep. Thank you. Hi.
What are the things you're going to miss the most about playing Cars?
What are the things I'm going to miss the most?
Yes.
I don't know, there are a lot of things I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss going to work and, you know, laughing and having fun with the cast and crew. And I don't know. I mean, I guess like there's a part of me that fears that this community is going to sort of slowly go away, which it probably will. I mean, you know. Promise?
Yeah. Do we think you swear?
And I'll miss being able to go to work and have my castmates, you know, fondle my genitals while we're shooting. That's something I probably won't be able to get in another show.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. Hi. I'd like that you get... Hi.
So my question is, do you have a favorite poem? And if you do, why is it your favorite?
I did listen to the question. Don't criticize my listening skills.
I don't know.
I'm getting heckled. I don't know that I have a favorite poem. There's a poem by Edna St. Vincent Millay. My candle burns at both ends. It will not last the night. But oh my friends and oh my foes, it gives a lovely light. That's a lovely poem, I think.
Yeah.
Wild Geese by Mary Oliver,
Yeah.
I love.
I love it.
And what was the rest of your question? I didn't listen. Why?
Yes, why?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I just respond to those. I don't think I can answer that.
Okay.
It's too personal.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. Hi.
Hi. So my question is, you inspire a lot of people. How do you feel about it?
Well, right now, super uncomfortable. I don't know what are you talking about? Influence. Thank you. Thank you for throwing me a lifeline.
Yay.
I can't answer your question. I feel so uncomfortable. I like the fact that we have this, I think, very dynamic relationship, like the cast and the fans of this show, where we're sort of, I feel like, symbiotically trying to do some good in the world.
Yeah, this is what I meant. That a lot of
thank
people
you.
follow your good example. I don't know what else you should think about, guys. Shame on you.
But I guess I have to say, like, when I got on this show, I had been thinking, like, I should try to be more charitable or do more, beneficial things in the world. And my interaction with the fans of the show helped me to do that, because I saw that in you guys. And so I kind of feel like it's on you as much or more than it is on me. So you inspire us as well, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Hi.
What was your favorite version of Cass you got to play, and how would you like to see the show end?
I really liked playing Lucifer. I think Mark Pellegrino established a really cool template for the character, and it was just fun to fill those shoes, and I liked that there was kind of a long arc with that version of Cass. Some of them were a little too short for me, like human Cass. And I think the show should end kind of tragically. Sorry, that's what I think. What do you want? I mean, you want a unicorn and a rainbow?
Unicorns.
No unicorn? Yeah. You agree, tragic.
There's no other way to.
It has to be tragic. Okay, settle down. I mean, what do you guys think? How do you want it to end?
Everyone gets run over by a bus.
Being part of Untitled.
Everyone gets
Always
run
keep
over.
fighting. That's a good idea. It could end with like, always keep fighting, you are not alone. Love yourself first. I wish for this, and then we go. I think that I think that there has to be big sacrifice at the end of the show. I'm sorry, that's what I think.
Thank you.
Okay. There was a lot of dissension in the room. I mean, could it end like happily ever after? Heaven. Everybody in heaven, but heaven is all fucked up too.
Everybody ends up at Rome.
Everyone is in Rome.
You're welcome.
Sam and Dean and Cass are at JIB10. Hi.
Hello. First, I want to say that Castiel's wardrobe is my inspiration because I would love to just be able to wear the same thing every day and not worry about it.
Yeah, it's very efficient.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
But my question is, now that we know season 15 is the last season, do you have a one last final big prank prepared to do on set? And if not, have I just given you an idea?
You have just given me an idea. Yeah, I think we have to sort of step up our game at the very end.
I think so
can
too.
you do me a quick favor and not ask Jared the same question?
I will not. I promise you, I will not.
You already asked him?
Yes, and we know.
And he told you what the prank was?
No.
What is it?
It's nothing
We have
to do
these
with pipe
giant,
bombs.
this stays between us, by the way.
Definitely.
But we have these giant dumpsters on set. And we also have, like those big construction dumpsters, you know?
Yeah.
And we also have forklifts. And Jared sometimes drives his truck to work. And I want to put it in the dumpster.
Please do that.
I think he would find it funny.
We will.
It's the retaliation you have to worry about.
But I want to do it at the end of the last day, so he doesn't have time to get back.
Whenever you want, just do it. And one final thing, that thing behind you, you have not reacted to it.
What thing?
The face.
Oh, the face.
Yes.
Oh, it's saying
What is that?
Figure it out.
It's the moon? It's the monkey on the moon?
Is not around.
It's if you say something and you put your hand into it, and if it's alive,
not gonna fall for that.
It bites. It bites your hand off if it's alive.
But
So you better not be lying.
say something.
You have to say something first.
I say something?
And then you put your hand
you say
in.
Oh, it's like a lie detector.
Yeah.
Basically, you say something and you put your hand into the mouth, and if it's a lie, it bites your hand off.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that then. I'm falling for your tricks.
Well, both Jared and Jensen did it, and they got their fingers bitten.
Okay, well, great. I learned from their mistakes. That's fucking scary. What's happening here? I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone episode. Thank you. Good talking to you. Scary talking to you. Hi. Jared and Jensen also drank the nail polish earlier. Hi.
Can you tell us a little bit about the next gish trip to Laos? It seems interesting.
Yes. Can. So I've been a little bit thinking about, Gish, which is this scavenger hunt game thing that I run, we have these winners trips where we go cool, fun places in the world. And then I started to feel like, this kind of feels like a weird, like used car salesman gimmick. Like, win a free trip to Hawaii if you win the scavenger hunt. And it occurred to me that it could be cool to actually go somewhere and do something that's a little bit meaningful and mind-expanding. And I think so Laos happens to be a place that is actually incredibly beautiful and unspoiled, and like it's actually like an amazing place to go. But it's also a place where you can see kind of some of the horrors of war and maybe do something beneficial. Laos has the most landmines, sorry, most unexploded ordnances, bombs that haven't exploded per capita in the world. And kids are picking up these little bombs and using them as little bowling balls in games, and they're exploding, and like 20,000 kids have lost limbs. And so clearing those and helping to fund organizations that are clearing those is something that I'm interested in working on, and we've been working with this guy, Giles Dooley, who lost 2 legs and an arm to a landmine. So this is a particularly like meaningful thing to him. So I like the idea of merging the winter's trip with something that's a little more interesting, and that's why we're going to Laos for the winter's trip next year. But you won't, if you win, you will not.
I can't win.
If you,
I already won last year.
oh, show off. Oh yeah, good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, but if you win, you won't actually have to touch an unexploded bomb. Just so it's not actually going to be dangerous. I don't think.
React when they eventually find out.
About that deal?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Sam and Dean will try to fuck with Cass a little bit and like try to make him happy.
No doubt.
Let me rephrase that. They'll make him breakfast in bed and do sweet things to try to make him happy, just to see him die as a prank.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, thanks. Hi.
That was quick.
Yeah.
So I know that you're really into trying to promote change, and you've been protesting for a lot of change in our country. After the show is over, would you be interested in doing anything political, like locally or statewide, like maybe senatorial?
Gonna be president.
Sure. Yeah. Do you have a job opening for me?
Yes.
Great.
Pick a red state and move there.
Okay.
And then apply as a senator.
Okay. Is it just an application? Is that how you do that?
Sure.
Yeah. Great. Okay.
100%.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do worry, like if I ever, so for a long time in my life, I thought I was going to go into politics, and I was really careful not to have any compromising photos taken of me, or to say anything on camera that might be looked at in a bad light by conservative-leaning people. But I've kind of fucked that up at these panels over the last few years. So there might have to be like a purging process that goes on, where I bribe fans into deleting the videos that they've shot of these panels.
There's a lot of politicians that have done a lot worse, so...
Name one. Hi.
Hi. First of all, I want to say you're just the best damn person in the world. Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry. Can you say that again?
Yeah, I feel like I need to highlight that for a second, just because the amount of kindness and compassion you show towards all of this is it's amazing.
Thank you for being so sweet. Thank you.
So my question is, when you're having a bad day, what do you do to, I guess, dig yourself out of that pit, or how do you cope with that?
Well, I don't always dig myself out. I'm not sure that this is a model that should be followed, but so I sometimes go through phases that I call molting, like it feels like I'm shedding a skin or something, and it can last for a couple of weeks, and it's like a sad time. And sometimes I just let myself sit in that and just experience it, and not tell myself a story about how terrible things are, but just let it be what it is. And then there are other times when I'm like, okay, I don't think I have the resources right now to be depressed for 2 weeks. So, so I'm gonna go outside and go for a run and clear my head, play with the kids, or watch TV. So I don't know, I do different things, and I don't know that any of them are the right thing. But sometimes I sit with it, and sometimes I resist it. But everybody has bad days. I don't know anyone that doesn't struggle at times. And I'm certainly one of them. And everyone I know goes through hard times. And I think a lot of us are really good at putting on a smile and acting like we're not going through stuff. And I think we see that in other people and assume that other people are always having a good time. But I think everyone has hard days. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, that wasn't a really good answer, but it's
There's a mass exodus out of this room right now. I'm so sorry, guys. I love you too. Go where you gotta go. I can't follow that, but I can only agree. I feel like, wasn't my question, but I feel like he answered it for me. Oh, how funny. Hi, guys, gals. How's today been? Good. Good. There's a lot of strange things on this stage. I feel like I should shower. All right. Where to? Where do I go? So he was here. Hi.
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 My question is, have you ever watched
Misha. What Sorry, my fault.
Have you ever watched Supernatural abroad and heard your dubbing voice, and how did you feel about it?
Yes, I watched Supernatural in 2006 in Beijing. So I was dubbed in, I suppose, Mandarin? That sounds ignorant. Mandarin or Cantonese. And my friend at the time was like, Jared, come here, check this out. And I'm in the shower, and I ran out, and it was Supernatural. It was a like ad for the show, and I heard myself in Chinese, and I was like, man, they sound so much better than I sound. I wish I had a cooler voice. This is one of my many imperfections that gets to be sort of aired, but it was cool. And then I met in Argentina. Is that right? No, in Barcelona, in Spain, I met my voice dubber, who was like a very handsome and sexy Spanish man. No. And he was like, I am Sam Winchester. And I was like, I wish I looked like you.
He is not.
He is. I met him. I have pictures with him.
Yeah, no.
Oh, don't you say he is not.
I know he is not.
He is El San Winchestero. You watch your mouth. He's a handsome, talented guy. So,
You're more handsome.
well, that's not important, but I like it. Yes, so I have, but not a whole lot. Have you?
Yeah, I'm from Germany, so I watched your German voice, and it's quite high. Which is very horrible.
Oh, that's awful. That's pretty embarrassing. Oh, that sounds wunderbar. Dankeschön. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm Kate. My question is, there was footage a couple of years ago of you playing guitar, I think, at a con in Australia. And obviously, the supernatural family vectors are all very musical, or a lot of them are. And I just wondered, will we see more of that from you? And can you tell us a little bit about what it means to you play music?
Sure. Wunderbar. Ist Deutschland uns dient?
Wir können auch in Deutsch reden, wenn du willst.
That scared me. Say it again.
Wir können auch in Deutsch reden, wenn du willst. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
Why are the fans off? I love playing guitar. I am not. We have a bunch of outrageously talented and musical people on the show, and that's been a cool.
There go the balloons.
Yeah, so.
99 Luftballons.
Don't give it back to me. Yeah, it's going to come back to me. Thank you. I do love to play, and I am totally willing to play. I wouldn't want to waste anybody's time. I know where my talents lie. I'm not a musician like a few of the guys. You know, between Rob and Jason and Billy and Jensen, they're all rock stars, and they can do whatever they set out to. I love to support, be a part. I feel like with Supernatural even, I love to tell whatever part of the story I can. I wouldn't want to be a part of the story that I wouldn't live up to. But if there's a chance to sing and play, then cool. We'll see what happens.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Jared. We all know that you are a wonderful father for your kids, and you do your best to make their childhood great, yes? And I was wondering that what your childhood memories make you smile?
Thank you. This is strange. I'm laughing because I'm trying to consider whether or not to push back on the first part of that. I try to do my best. I feel like my best memories as a child sort of mimic my best memories as an adult. So I'll be 37 in a couple months. A month? Whatever.
In July.
In July. 30 years ago when I was 7, I feel like the same things. I feel like at some point I discovered that what excited me and meant something to me as a 7-year-old 30 years ago was the same thing that meant something to me and had meaning as a 37-year-old, which is I love to be around people that I support and love and trust, but also support and love and trust me, and to choose. I mean, everybody in this room probably has things that they would rather have not have done, myself most of all, I'm sure, but the fact that we choose to focus on the best of each other, I feel like if the world focused on the best of the person who they're talking to, it'd be a better world. And so for me, I feel like as a child, to try and go back to your question, I feel like I love the innocence of just do what your day provides, what your friends are doing, like kind of like figure out what's going on and find out who you are. But that sort of innocence of just trying to have a good time, be a good person. So I hope we can all have the same experience.
Thank you so much. We
Thank
love
you.
you.
Yeah, love you back. Hey.
Hi. So, do you feel like Sam and John were able to reconcile in episode 300 because Sam had a chance to grow up and mature independently and recognize his part in the strain on their relationship before they had that conversation?
Will you say that one more time? Please? Sorry. No.
Do you feel like Sam and John were able to reconcile in episode 300 because Sam had a chance to grow up and mature independently and recognize his part in the strain on their relationship before they had that conversation?
Yes and no. And I'll start out by saying this. I loved the scenes I got to do with Jeffrey Dean Morgan in 300. I think he was awesome. I loved what the scenes did, but a different part of me doesn't feel like, a different part of me feels like it's not somebody else's job or the job of your age or experience to make you comfortable with where you are and the experiences and relationships that you've had and that you're in. So I feel like the scene that I loved, and I had to walk away several times because I was crying, because Jared was crying. I think season 1 Sam could have had that same conversation with season 1 John. You know, it took Sam 14 seasons, however many years, but I don't feel like you need to go, I don't feel like people in general objectively need to go through something to find themselves in a position to, sorry, I know there are several languages here. I feel like it's on the individual to go, you know what, I'm going to make this right. And if the person doesn't reciprocate and give back to me what I'm giving to them, then that's not my fault. That's not on me. That's not my problem. I shouldn't be guilty, sorry? Responsibility, sure. So I feel like Sam could have had that same conversation in season 1, in the pilot, or in the finale of season 1. He didn't have the words for it yet because he was younger. But I feel like we all have, everybody in this room has the power to make peace with their worst demon right now. But it's up to you, you know, proverbially. So I feel like I'm glad to see it on camera. I feel like if we don't see Jeffrey Dean Morgan again in Supernatural in the next 20 episodes, I'm happy with where Sam and John ended. But I feel like Sam found that part of him, discovered that facet of himself, and Sam's my buddy. I feel like he discovered that earlier, didn't have the chance to say it, finally had the courage to say it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have a great answer for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for the great question. Hi.
So season 15 being unfortunately the final season, what do you see yourself doing afterwards? Would it involve maybe producing or directing or maybe something different?
Well, not directing. I would love to produce. I'd love to produce, and I'd love to do maybe cool guest arcs of acting on other shows or movies.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi. You and Jensen said that you'd like to have some input in the storyline of season 15. So, could you tell us something that you would like to change or add for the brothers compared to last seasons?
Great question. I personally, I feel like my input that I want for Sam is input at the last second, in the last moments. So I don't want to write season 15. I don't want to direct. I don't want to produce. I don't want to write any dialogue, any storylines. I want to protect my buddy, to quote Jensen, who quoted Sylvester Stallone. Sam Winchester is my best imaginary friend of all time. You know, Sam has Sully, I have Sam. Thank you. So I want to do him justice, and I feel like I only have so much focus. My bandwidth can only service so much, so I'd like to focus on Sam's story as far as when it comes to me, and say this doesn't work for Sam, this does, compared to like, hey, I want Sam to wear green pants, or I think it'd be cool if he killed a vampire, or like he should have a bowler cap. Like, I don't give a shit. Shoot.
No one fucking cares.
I want to make. There's a great story when I worked with the late and great Peter O'Toole. He told a story about his friend. I won't mention the exact name, but he said his friend, who was knighted, who was a multiple Oscar award winner, his friend started to rehearse lines in the mirror to see, like, well, if I say the line like this, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. You know, like so he became a byproduct of the way he looked compared to how it felt. So I don't watch myself. I don't watch myself before I film. I don't watch myself after I film. I haven't seen a lot of the show, but I've seen it in my head. So in some way, shape, and form, I want to stay true to what's inside of Sam, whether or not it looks like Sam is wearing this or wearing that, or saying this or saying that. As long as my motivation is staying true, then I'll be happy. But I don't want to guide the storyline. I'll protect Sam, but I don't really have anything that I would want to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Ciao.
Oh, after Jack killed Mary, the brothers have very different reactions. Dean is all bent on revenge, while Sam is a lot less so, but they both lost their mother for the second time. Why do you, Jared, think it's so different, their reaction?
Great question. I think the obvious answer, in my opinion, is that Sam lost his mother for the first time. You know? Sam was, what, 6 months old? It's, you know, the facts are Sam lost his mother for the second time, as did Dean, but in essence, Sam didn't know his mom. So Sam just started a relationship. Sam knew his mom through his brother. And so Sam lost his mother for the first time, but Sam had been through so much that he wanted to continue to stay the course, I guess. I mean, I don't know the translation for that.
I understand.
Yeah. Like, keep doing, like, keep fighting the good fight. We have work to do. You know, keep doing what they're doing, make the world a better place, and help people in small places here and there. So that's, I feel like Dean knew his mom and lost her already, and so it was sort of like reopening the wound. Like, we have a saying called kick a horse when it's down. I feel like Dean had a horse that was kicked when it was down, whereas Sam lost a friend for the first time that he had known for only a couple of years. Not to belittle the relationship. But yeah, I feel like that was the major, maybe, difference.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Carol, and there's something I always wanted to know. Why did Sam needed to prepare himself as a vessel for Lucifer with demon blood, but didn't need to, and also Castiel didn't need to, and Nick didn't? And also, are you gonna do something with your hair now that the show will end?
What are you trying to say? Should I think there's a, you got to, I don't know what to do with my hair.
Leave it. It's beautiful.
You're beautiful. Okay, let me go back to the first question. Why did Sam need to prepare? Sam didn't need to prepare for Lucifer, Sam prepared for Lilith. So the Ruby Demon Blood storyline was to kill Lilith, not to be Lucifer's vessel. Sam was always Lucifer's perfect vessel, which is why he didn't need to do anything for Lucifer, just like Dean didn't need to do anything for Michael. And Nick, Mark Pellegrino, couldn't do anything for Lucifer's vessel because he wasn't the perfect vessel, which is why he sort of deteriorates. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, no, I didn't answer your question. As far as my hair goes, I would like to be unrecognizable within 6 months. No, I'm just saying, like, let me grow my hair and my beard and give you guys a big hug when I see you. Because it's been 20 years in this crazy industry, and I'd love to, I don't know, just see you guys and have you all see me.
Thank you.
Hi. So the show has been developing Samuel Rowena's relationship really organically. And do you think they could be going somewhere with that? And would you like to see going somewhere with that?
Yeah, I think Sam and Rowena's relationship reminds me of Sam and Jack's relationship in some form, where I feel like it's two powerful beings that recognize each other's strengths and recognize that they can be each other's friends. I don't think, in a weird way, and I've seen this in the writing, and maybe you guys have too, I don't think Sam is looking for more friends. Whether that's good or bad. I feel like Sam, even with Jack, he wasn't Jack's dad, he wasn't Jack's brother. He loved Jack, but he sort of was still at arm's length of like, I don't know what's going on, I'm going to give him everything I can give him, but I'm not going to die for him necessarily, because I have work to do. Probably the same to some degree with Rowena, though she has a bit of Crowley in her, and so you're like, I don't know if she's on my side. I think she is. By the way, I love Ruthie, so any excuse to work with her, I'll take it, like, sign me up. But objectively, I feel like I'd love to see more Sam and Rowena. I'd love to see more Dean and Rowena. I'd love to see more Cass and Rowena. Anytime, I realize that this show, and I know that we have 20 episodes left, and so that's the last of it. And I'll cry harder than all of you, I promise.
No, you won't. I'll bet you left.
Challenge accepted. What do you want to bet? But I feel like what fleshes out the show, what fleshed out our world of Supernatural, was seeing people other than just Sam and Dean on screen.
Yeah.
So any chance to see that would be awesome.
I agree.
Thank you. Great question.
Thanks so much.
You know she's saving it.
Good catch. Thank you. It's going to just float here for all of time. Hi.
Hi. Was there any episode that was scary to shoot besides the Bugs one? And why did the show stop making scary episodes like in the beginning?
Great questions. The Bugs episode was actually scary with 50,000 bees in the same room. I feel like beyond that, there were certain stunts that may have been scary, but I feel like what happened, the reason we stopped or we sort of steered away from doing individual episodes that were scary was because we found a storyline and a family that made sense for the long term. You know, once Misha came on, and once we had angels, and once my wife came on, and we had demons, the story Supernatural found what, like the deeper meaning, you know? So it's sort of a magical development of, we have this scary thing, that scary thing, what are the boys doing, how's it going? Oh wait, they're angels, oh wait, they're demons, oh wait, we can do a greater good, let's stick with this. So I feel like it became we found a deeper meaning. We still try to. We still try to do, we call them episodes of the week. So we still try to do a few every year that are sort of like just scary episodes. But I think by and large, we found a great through line and kind of have to stick with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm saying a funny graphic. It's sort of like scary. Hi.
Hi. Do you think that there is a part of Sam that wishes that he was the one to kill Lucifer? Has Sam found closure now that Dean and Jack have killed him, or is he kind of still looking over his shoulder in that regard?
Will you say it one more time?
Do you think that Sam, kind of there is a part of Sam that wishes he was the one to kill Lucifer?
Yeah.
Has he found closure now that Dean and Jack have killed him, or is he still kind of worried that Lucifer will come back again?
I say, I honestly feel like Sam is happier that his brother did that for him. You know, I feel like if you think of your best friend, or if you have a child, or a lover, or a spouse, or a special someone, the joy that Dean got from killing Lucifer in the way that he did, I think usurps the joy that Sam would have had for revenge. And there's something wonderful about, I've learned this from Supernatural. I think one of the best parts of revenge is realizing you never really needed it. So I feel like when Sam witnessed his brother, essentially, killing Lucifer with the Archangel Blade, Sam realized, like, I wanted this out of my life, but I didn't need to be the one to shiv the guy, to stab him, to kill him. And he was happier for somebody else's success. And I feel like if you can find happiness in somebody else's success, especially somebody you love, then you'll never be unhappy. If you're always focused on I think if you focus only, I guess I said it, if you only focus on the things you can write down on your resume, you'll never see the larger picture, the bigger picture of what people did with your help and what you did with their help. And that's where the real joy comes in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hi.
Hi there. My question is, how was your experience acting a new version of Sam Winchester on the 300th episode? As we call it, TED Talk Sam, sort of Steve Jobs-ish. Comical yet really hot with all glasses and, and slick back
Say it
hair.
again?
Really hot, yeah. And we have other versions of Sam, Justin Smith, from Charming Acres too. So did you have fun acting that character?
Take that.
Or is there any thoughts you might want to share?
Thank you. The TED Talk thing, the pants were very tight, is all I remember. That's all I recall. The glasses were prescription, so I couldn't see anything, and the pants were very tight. And it was fun to shoot. The Justin Smith bit, we shot, and the actor who played Justin Smith, I can't recall his name right now, but he was so good that I was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And then I had to do it, and I was like, I don't know if I can do it that well. Like, he's so good. I wish I remembered his name. And the actress who played my wife was phenomenal. So I remember it was one of these kind of weird experiences where I was filming this show, and technically I was the lead of the show, but I was sitting there on camera going like, these people are good.
No, you're being humble.
No, I don't know. They were like great actors and actresses. It was a fun time. There was probably about 10 minutes of gag reel footage of me mounting Misha from the milkshake shop that didn't make it, probably because we'd all be arrested. But it happens. It was a lot of fun. It's fun to do stuff like that, and I guess that's why, as an actor, it's so fun to do the show. I'm seeing some crazy Jared end of panel stuff going on. It just says Jared end of panel, end of panel, end of panel, end of panel, end of panel. It's not really that exciting. Thank y'all so much. Love all you guys. I think I'm done for the day, but I'll see you